So you're thinking about selling your home. Don't make these common mistakes that could cost you thousands of dollars, such as overpricing or not preparing your home for the showing. We're going to get into it right now. Auburn, Alabama area. I want you to make sure to go. Hey everyone, Alex Acuff here with eXp Realty in the Acuff Weekly group here in Auburn, Alabama, serving the greater Auburn, Opelika area, East Alabama, and even West Georgia. So if you're PCSing to Fort Moore or moving to the Columbus, Georgia, West Georgia area, we serve you guys too. Welcome to living in Auburn. We're excited you are here. If this is your first time to our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. That way you don't miss another video about everything eating, sleeping, living Auburn, Alabama, and the surrounding areas. Now we're getting reach outs from people just like you every single day that are looking to make the move to the Auburn, Opelika, East Alabama, West Georgia area. And we want to serve you and be the boots on the ground to help you make that transition as seamless as possible. So go ahead and reach out to me and my team. What we like to do is quickly set up a Zoom call consultation with you so we can learn more about you, put a face to the name, get to know your wants and needs, and we can help you make that transition as smooth as possible. And if you've got a home that you need to sell but you don't know where to start, go ahead and hit the QR code right here in the video. You can go ahead and screenshot it. You can just take a picture of it and click on it later on your photos, but go there and that's going to take you through our small little process of figuring out exactly what your home value is, and we can get you that in seconds. Just provide us a little bit of detail and we'll get to you shortly. Now stick around for mistake number 5 because it is an absolute deal killer as we get into these top 5 mistakes of selling your home in Auburn, Alabama, the things that we are seeing on the ground all the time that sellers are making these mistakes, and they are easily avoidable. Now I'm making more of a big deal about them, but they are very easily avoidable. Number 5 is probably the most crucial in my book, so let's get into it right now. Mistake number 1, you may know, is overpricing the home, and we see this all the time from home sellers. Now, we do a comparative market analysis to provide details on exactly what is happening with the active inventory, what's under contract, what is closed, and even more importantly in today's market is what is reducing in price, what is expired from the market, which means that the sellers have set a price and the buyers or the market have absolutely rejected it and their expiration has hit when their home has been listed for maybe 6 months, 9 months, or a year, whatever your listing agreement says with your agent. So at that point, if you feel pretty defeated, I think it's very important that throughout the process, that your agent is providing you with a CMA, a comparative market analysis, to really dig in so we get the pricing right. Now, a little bit of a story and a little bit of a cautionary tale for you here is that all the time I meet with sellers and they're always like, hey, let's look at the comps and let's price above the comps. And we see that all the time. And what they think is, and what their friends tell them is like, maybe it's like dealing with a car where we set a price high and then we'll come down to what the buyer wants. That way, ultimately, we're always gonna get top dollar. That's what every seller thinks. And I can tell you with 100% honesty, that is absolutely not true. In my experience, when pricing a home, we have found that if you set your list price to our suggested list price when we come during the meeting and do the listing presentation, that you will land at about 99.4% of that list price. We pride ourselves on properly pricing homes so they sell in the market. Because in today's world, what we're seeing is that we are not in a high demand market right now. We're in a market where you need to meet demand. And so that means when pricing the home, when we look at the scale of overpricing, less people looking at the home, underpricing, more people looking at the home, those numbers have shifted a little bit. So the higher end you go, it's not that you're going to have little buyers, it's that you may have no buyers. So it's important to set right there at the price that is meeting the market and the demand, which means it's got to be right at the sellable price or lower. Because if your home is sitting for really more than 30, 60 days, we have overpriced your home. So it's very important. And we're going to communicate that through the process. Now we can start high. We're absolutely okay with that. But just understand that demand may not be there for your home. Now, we're not perfect. I've absolutely listed homes where I found that actually demand is much higher than what we found by going with our pricing. So in that case, we're more than happy to negotiate the deal up. So all kinds of stories here when it comes to pricing, but number one, just don't overprice your home. Mistake number two is skipping repairs and preparing the home for the market. So we're talking about the importance of decluttering the home, fixing those small repairs, or doing those minor upgrades that may capture more money for your house. Now, this happens all the time. All the agents on our team, they'll show a home and their feedback is more about how the home wasn't prepared versus how the home was a great fit for our client. And so that tells a great tale for us when we are listing your home, is that we want to speak to you with an absolute honesty coming from the buy side, because ultimately the value of your home is deemed by the market and what the buyer sees when they're there. So it's very important that we prepare the home properly for the market. That starts from the front door. If you have a loose handle, tighten it. If your door stain is old and dingy, go ahead and get it restained. Make the minor improvements to increase the desirability of the property and allowing the buyer to see the property as it is already theirs. That's the importance here, is that we want to make sure that we've decluttered the home, that they're not studying that you might be a professor at the university, or that you work at this company, or you're this CEO, or you've done this in your work life, or you've traveled to these areas. Those are important to you. Those are important to you. But I do say when we are listing a home is that we want the home to showcase where people can see the furniture, that they've minimalized the things on the tables to maybe 2 to 3 items on a very small table, no more than 5 on a larger table for sure. Clear countertops, that we're not studying what kind of food you eat, that the filters are replaced in the air vents, things like that. And just really doing the small things. Now, if you have deferred maintenance on the house, it's absolutely important to get that done. That means common deferred maintenance is cleaning your tankless hot water heater. We see it all the time. They're never cleaned. Servicing your HVAC system. Super important that you service your HVAC system. It is about a 90% guarantee that when someone does a home inspection on your home and it doesn't state anywhere where your HVAC system has been serviced, they're going to ask for you to service it. It's a major component to the home. Always important to hit up the major components. Even the roof. If your roof is old, it has hail damage, and you know it needs to be replaced, go ahead, contact your insurance company, see what kind of coverage you can get, see if we can't pack that into the deal, because that's going to ultimately raise the price if it's a brand new roof on the house, right? So decluttering, doing the small maintenance to the home, cleaning is big. If you could do anything, just do cleaning. That means the baseboards, the air returns, the dust that has been sitting on your fans for the past 6 months to 6 years. You've got to get that stuff off and clean up the house, because no one cares to buy a dirty house. That's an absolute truth to it. Nor can they take on the repairs in today's world. So here's a little bit of a difference just to give you some perspective from the buy side. A couple years ago, when we had interest rates that were in the low 3s, high 2s, people were buying homes with all the deferred maintenance and all the renovations and repairs that needed to be done to actually capture the price that they purchased it at. And the reason why they were doing that is because they had such a low interest rate. Now their monthly nut that they owe on the home is extremely low. So they have additional funds that they can spend on fixing these things, but they ultimately got the home that they wanted in the location. They said, we'll take care of the rest. Now, we're going to flip that on its head and welcome to 2024. And in 2024, you really can't get away with that, because the interest rates are over 6.5% right now, which is eating up all those additional funds that people would normally be spending on the upgrades, the maintenance, the deferred maintenance of the house. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, we can capture you top dollar, but ultimately you need to take care of some of those small home repairs, the deferred maintenance, decluttering the house. Those are crucial. So number 2 mistake, do not miss this. Mistake number 3 when selling a house is poor marketing. Now, this is really my specialty. This is where we come in and we really show you the magic of what the Acuff Weekly Group is doing on a day-to-day basis with our listings to market them better than everyone else in our area. Now, when you meet with me in a listing, you'll hear me talk about the 4 Ps, which was put it on the MLS, put a sign in the yard, put a lock box on the door, put a flyer box on the sign. That's the common items that most people are doing, your average agent is doing when they list your house. Because ultimately, if you're trying to save on commission, guess where they're going to cut their commission in order to get the listing. They may give you the highest price and they may give you a lower commission, but guess what they're cutting? Because at the end of the day, it comes to how well are people marketing your home. You hired someone who's poorly marketing your home, that's not exposing it to the most amount of people, nor do they have the database or the influence, which is the key today, is that you want to hire influence in the market. So when it comes to marketing, and what we're doing is we actually have a full-time listing coordinator who works for our team, works with all of our agents, works with every listing, whether it's a $60,000 listing or a $2 million listing or higher. It does not matter. We do the same marketing plan. Now, let me tell you about our marketing plan and how we market better than everyone else in our market. Now, when we market a home, there's a few things. We have a strategy behind this. So we like to come in, we'll bring in Hope. We'll do a little bit of staging if we have to. We'll bring in Mary Gail. We'll bring in whoever we need, a professional person to declutter your house if we have to. From that point, then we're going to get the professional photos. At the same time, we're going to get a 3D tour of the home that really showcases the entire thing. So someone from California or South Africa can see your home and understand the floor plan. We're going to get a floor plan, a 2D floor plan to upload to the MLS from that 3D tour that's going to showcase every piece of the house. We're also going to be recording video while we're there, whether that's an agent walkthrough, multiple shots. We'll have slow highlights, fast highlights, walking highlights, narrated highlights. We'll have drone highlights. All these things come into how we influence other agents and other buyers to encourage them to come see your house. Because in today's world, over 90% of buyers are online judging your home strictly off of its listing. Now, if it's important to you to sell for top dollar, wouldn't it make sense that your first impression is the best impression? Right, it is. So you want to hire a team that puts money into that. So not just into the front end, but also on the back end, the things that you don't see. Is the agent that you're hiring, are they doing Google pay-per-click? Are they doing Facebook pay-per-click? Are they doing Instagram advertising? Are they posting on TikTok? All these minuscule things that you may not be thinking of, you need to be asking your agents, what channels are you using? Are they doing radio advertising? We do omnipresent advertising. And that's how we like to present it to our sellers, because when you work with us, you're not just getting a single agent, you're getting an entire team. You're getting a marketing professional. You're getting everyone that you could possibly think of to get your home sold at top dollar. Now, the key here is that you have to listen. It's a team thing, right? So we're always working together to get your home sold for top dollar. We're going to give you the marketing pieces that you need, because ultimately we want you to be proud of the listing and proud of the agent that you hire, which is hopefully the Acuff Weekley group. So we're going to give you assets to use to market the home on your behalf so you can share it with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors, because ultimately we do like to ask the neighbors, do they have someone in mind that they'd like as a neighbor, right? It's always kind of important to ask the neighbors because they may have someone already in mind. Mistake number 4 that we see as the most common is poor communication. And this may be the baseline as to what maybe your home has expired on the market, is that you've had zero communication with your agent. They've put in the MLS and that's it. They've just pretty much disappeared waiting on an offer because they don't want to talk to you about anything negative. Now, when we meet with a home seller and we're talking about selling the property, we're always talking about communication, because it's the number one reason why people will hire us versus other agents, is that they find that our communication is a lot stronger than most. And so the reason why is because we are regimented, we're scheduled, we're bringing multiple people in, there's multiple touch points. So we're going to be using all kinds of systems to streamline the showing process. That way you know exactly when a showing's happening, is that there's no interference in communication, that you'll see immediate feedback on the home. We're going to be communicating with you all the way through the process, talking about the important dates, the listing coming alive, exactly what you need to expect when there's a showing, what to do when preparing for a showing. All this communication. And even more importantly, if your home has not sold after the first weekend, really, of being listed with us, then it becomes our communication practice throughout the listing that we're going to talk with you, we're going to meet with you every week. We're going to have some type of text, some type of email, some type of phone call that is running every week. And we're going to be talking about the market. We're going to be talking about what's happening to your competition. What are the tweaks that they did to get their home sold? What is new construction doing? What is their incentives? What is our incentives? What are things that we can do to improve the home? Are we doing open houses? Have we done a realtor care event? Are we thinking about reducing the price? All these things, plus many, many more items, go into the process of selling a home. This is not an easy process in today's world, so you have to work with a professional that has a system in place to sell your home for the most amount of money with the least amount of headache, right? That's so important. So mistake number 4, you definitely don't want to work with someone with poor communication. Now, welcome to mistake number 5. And this one is super important to me because we happen to see this kill a deal more often than not. And that is actually the seller not being flexible. And so hear me out when we talk about being flexible. Flexible on showings, on allowing showings as conveniently as possible. Now, we completely understand that there are certain timeframes that people cannot see a home. No problem. If we set that standard at the beginning and we actually build out our showing time platform properly, that we have avoided any opportunity for an agent to schedule a time that doesn't work for you. Now, with that said, people do slip through the cracks and they end up sending us text messages and whatnot saying, hey, my buyer is only in town for this day at this hour. Can I show the house? And we're going to ask you. We're going to absolutely ask you. So being flexible in the showing process is great. Being flexible at the beginning, being flexible about willing to put stuff in boxes, put stuff away. Now, we're not taking pictures of your garage, so go ahead and fill that joker up. We're not taking pictures of the inside of your closets, fill those jokers up. So go ahead and feel free to push those things that you know that may not be totally necessary. Go ahead and get those packed up, put away, and plan for your move. It's going to make your move so much easier in this process. Now, back to communication. In the negotiation phase, we need to talk a lot about being flexible with close dates. In today's world, we're helping a lot of people that are selling a home and that need to buy a home. And with a market that is not moving as fast, we have to be flexible. So does that mean that we're willing to get top dollar? Maybe we're able, as a seller, take a little bit less than normal for the home, but they're able to give you an additional 30 days to stay in the home for free. That way it's a simpler transition. You know, we got to weigh the odds of what is the value to you, because it's not just always purchase price, right? We have to find the flexibility within the deal. It's not just price, but it's also the terms that are involved. Also on close date, being flexible on close date, signing in the morning, signing early. Whether we have to do a mail away, we're more than happy to. We work with people out of the country and out of town all the time. So there's not an issue that we will have or something that comes up that we have not experienced. So you can rely on the Acuff Weekly Group to be really professional about that and taking you through the process. In fact, we have someone that is a dedicated hire to contract management who will take you all the way through the process. That's one of the best parts. So being flexible is super key. And that is mistake number 5. And that completes my list of the 5 mistakes you don't want to make when listing your home in Auburn, Alabama. Now, we've covered our 5 mistakes. Once again, I want you to hit the QR code. If you are thinking about selling and you're just interested in finding out, even if you want a cash offer, you don't have to be in Auburn to get a cash offer from our team. Go ahead and scan the QR code, fill it out. We'll be in touch shortly to meet your needs and see what we can do to help you make that transition to Auburn, Alabama. Now, if you're in the beginning phases, this is a really important phase to start having conversations with your agent and getting prepared for what's coming in the market, especially with the elections and 2025, preparing for the spring. What does our winter look like? If you want to check out my last video, I did cover a fall market update, kind of going into this election season and what to expect from the buying and selling aspects. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure to subscribe if this is your first time to our channel. Reach out to us if we can help you make that transition. But ultimately, we'd love your comment down below. Tell us what mistake you feel is most important, or if there's one that we just happen to miss, or a video that you want us to cover in the future. Go ahead and hit us up, and we will see you guys on the next video.